Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater. We are a diverse religious community seeking spiritual experience and all forms of knowledge in an atmosphere of love, acceptance, and respect. Our mission is to protect and perpetuate religious freedom, tolerance, and knowledge, to challenge injustice, and to nurture and serve one another and the wider community. This morning, our minister is Reverend Catherine Shearer. We have musicians Ani Love and Rick Riley. We have a story by Mary Kate Couch. And I believe we're ready for announcements.
After the service, please join us in the social room for refreshments and conversation. There will be a forum today at 12:30. Okay, this is, sorry, this is not set up the way I'm used to. Doug Williams will be leading it, and the title is The Religious Imagination of Africa. We got problems, yeah, so at any rate, we'll figure it out together. Then at 2 o'clock, after the forum, there will be a Zoom session that will be presented by Singing Resistance, and they will be introducing their toolkit and songbook. It's sort of an organizing training. Questions about that, I think, would be directed to Ani Love. The board meeting is scheduled to meet Tuesday at 6:30. There is an agenda that's on the bulletin board in the social room. And as a reminder, speaking of the bulletin board in the social room, always, every now and then check it, because we put events on there that are not specifically church events. And Francis drew our attention to some library events that you'll want to take a peek at. The Women's Luncheon Group will meet this Wednesday. Pack a brown bag lunch and join us in the social room at noon. If you have questions about that, see Sandy Schultz. The Crafty UUs are scheduled to meet Saturday at 2. I don't know specifically, and Joe Melnick is not here to ask, but I'm assuming that even though we're going to have other things going on, they'll still be doing that. Our chili cook-off will be Saturday, February 14th at 5:30, but for people who are bringing chili, please arrive by 5 and bring a serving spoon with you. $15 per person. You can pay that on CH meetings. Kids under 12 eat free. There will be ribbons for first, second, and third favorites, and there will be karaoke DJ'd by Robert Patrick. I'm actually hoping he will sing. Next Sunday, the person leading our Sunday morning service will be Reverend Susan Ross, and her sermon title is Joy to You and Me. Really? In the middle of all this craziness and downright evil? How? Why? You'll want to hear it. We have a congregational meeting immediately following the service, February 15th, before social time, and at that, members will be voting whether to approve the revised budget for this fiscal year. Next Sunday is potluck. That theme is red. So that's pretty broad. I can picture Jell-O somehow, but whatever speaks red to you, that is what we're doing. The Spirit of Life session series has been moved 1 week again to February 19th. And so I have it on a strong conviction from Linda Smolin that this is firm. It's really starting on the 19th. So Susan Bullard and Linda Smolin will be leading that, and you can register for it on CH Meetings. Is it full yet?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. It will run from 7 to 9 that Thursday. Then on Saturday, February 28th, we'll have the kickoff for our annual pledge drive, and it's called Fulfilling the Vision. There is a sign up on CH Meetings. There is a sign up sheet in the social room. If you have an announcement you'd like to make, please come up and find a mic.
Good morning. Just a little more on the chili cook-off. This is coming Saturday, so if you're planning to attend or bring chili, please sign up so that we kind of have a head count. It makes it easier for Terry and I on setup. And remember, even though it's Valentine's Day, we will have a Valentine's Day theme. And we're going to have sweetheart pictures being taken by Marcy Edzard with a cute little frame. So if you want to get a picture of you with your sweetheart, your partner, your family member, your friend, whoever it is, we will be taking pictures, and those will be provided to you afterwards. And then, of course, the karaoke with Robert Patrick. He's coming from Tulsa and bringing his equipment. If you want to sing a love song, you can do that. No. He's got 20,000 songs to choose from, so you should be able to find something that you would like to sing. So please come and sign up. Yes, Linda.
Then I just want you to know that we have a little form to be filled out, and I guess Lynn Diesel is in here. Oh, Lynn. Lynn and I will be passing these out right after church. One of us will be standing at one of the doors.
Okay, sign up sheets for karaoke.
No, this is just for the dinner.
Okay.
So we'll get an idea how many people are coming.
Are you talking about now we've moved to the dinner for, I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Talking about the kickoff dinner.
Okay.
Oh, February 28th.
Okay, I'm talking about chili cook-off. Okay, so scratch that. That's a separate announcement that Linda can come up and make.
I would like to alert people to an event on, I'll put this up on the social room board, an event on Sunday, September 22nd from 2 to 4 at the Modella Gallery. Coffee, Cobbler, and Cool Blues. Connor Helm is going to be playing. If you've ever heard this young man, he's a phenomenal blues singer. There's going to be a Cobbler catered by Deborah Ann Wick Clark, and Brew Brothers Coffee. Brew Brothers is a new coffee shop on South Main that is a Black-owned business, so, and it's a celebrating Black art, so.
Which date?
It is February 22nd, 2 weeks from today.
You said September.
It's what?
You said September. You said September, but it's
I did? Oh my gosh. Where did that come from? Wow.
All right, other announcements, please. Oh, go for it.
This is a little bit early, but I just wanted to let everybody know that both of my kids are doing their Eagle projects. So if anybody would like to be helping out, we will be out at Camp Stapley, which is to the west of town, out on 51. On the 14th and 15th of March, pretty much all day long. We will have free food. If you RSVP and let us know if you have any food issues, restrictions, sensitivities, we'll have a separate menu for that. It's my mom and I are making everything from scratch at home, so we should have tasty food like pulled pork or tacos or whatever, depending on the day that you're there. But they are doing trail maintenance. The trails have become incredibly eroded out there. If you want to come and help, but you're thinking, I can't move a shovel, or I don't like the idea of getting stabbed by greenbrier thorns while we're trying to clear those out of the trail, help with serving food or washing dishes after would still be amazing. And also, if you just want to come and hang out because you were a scout or someone in your family was a scout once and you want to talk to current scouts, we'd still love to have you come hang. So, like I said, March 14th and 15th, so Saturday and Sunday, sun up to sundown. So we'll be out there. Thanks.
Lee, will you have something on the bulletin board?
I'm getting a flyer put together so that then you will be able to text or email us and let us know if you would like to attend. So we have a head count and can make sure we have enough food for everybody.
Thank you.
Audrey, you made me feel more comfortable today, because I messed up, you messed up, and now we're together. But I just want to clarify what I meant. This is for the Pledge Drive kickoff dinner that we're going to have on the 28th, and it's going to be from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And Lynn and I are going to be standing at the doors, passing these out. And I was just wondering, maybe we should pass them out before the service, and that way everybody will have one in hand. So, want to do that? Okay, thank you.
Other announcements? Quick, no problem. You can even be slow, I don't care.
Slow to pass. Yes, red, the theme, is coming up. So interpret that red. It could be the color, it could be heat, it could be passion. So just roll with it for our next Sunday for the potluck. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that some of you know that I'm a therapy dog team. Some of you don't. But Howard and Howard is a fluffy corgi. He's actually stinking cute. We will be at the public library next Saturday handing out specially made Valentines, including one that shows his fat, fluffy butt in a somewhat heart-shaped. So if you want to come by and say hi, I'll be at the public library with a lot of small children who are huge Howard enthusiasts. So, probably somewhere between like 10:30 and 11:30 in the morning. So.
Thank you. I'm a Howard fan. Other announcements? This is free, by the way. This is getting chaotic.
Linda got a little ahead of me. We have a very aggressive canvassing committee, as you can tell. And they're handing out exactly what I'm about to show you, so please take one from them. And the kickoff drive is 2 weeks, February 28th, not the 14th. It's completely separate from Valentine's Day. One thing in particular, we're going to have a free meal, and it's going to be a good one. We're working very hard on that. We will have music by Donald Brown, and you all know Donald Brown because he's been one of our musicians with several groups here, with the ukuleles and several other things, and he'll be playing the piano. He's quite an accomplished musician. We're really pleased that he agreed to do this. The big thing in the kickoff drive is that we're going to have group discussions. we'll talk about what the church should be doing and follow up from our retreat from 2 years ago. And really, this is where we'll be talking about things that we will spend the money that we're going to try to get into our budget. We'll be talking about the money that, the things we need to do and how we want to use this. So I was going to say that Linda and Lynn were going to pass things out as you walked out the door, but you already have them. If you don't have them at the end of the day, I'm sure they'll find you. Thank you. Oh, and if you'll notice at the bottom of the sheet, we have a little thing asking if you plan to attend and the number of people. This is not a commitment. Put your name in here if you think you would like to attend. We will be back at you later to actually confirm numbers and that sort of thing. But this gives us an advance, a number of people so we can deal with the caterer. Thank you very much. This is a Saturday night, that's right. Thank you. We'll continue with the prelude.
Church minute,
That was it.
I wrote this many years ago when I needed some confidence beyond my own understanding, and nothing's changed much. This is called Empower Me, Jesus. Empower me, Jesus. Embolden me, Jesus. Lift me up, Jesus, and help me believe. Empower me, Jesus. Embolden me, Jesus. Enlighten me, Lord. Help me follow your lead. Empower me, Jesus. Embolden me, Jesus. Lift me up, Jesus, and show me the way. Empower me, Jesus. Embolden me, Jesus. Enlighten me, Lord. Give me strength for this day. It's not mine to judge others. It's not mine to condemn. It's not mine to drive nails into somebody's hand. It is mine to be grateful, stand upright and see that I do unto others as you've done for me. Be kind, be merciful, feed bodies and souls. Don't fear the madness that sometimes takes hold. The greatest power you'll know grows from within. When you open your heart and just let it begin. Empower me, Jesus. Embolden me, Jesus. To be kind, be merciful, feed bodies and souls.
There are so many things going on. Did you notice that in the announcements, how many things are going on? So may this light, after that lovely song, well, deeper than lovely, that lovely is a nice word for it, but more than that loving song. May this be the light of love in all of those things that we do and say and think and are. Our opening hymn is number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Sorry, wrong key.
All right. So I'm sure that many of you have heard this story. So this is a story about belonging, self-love, your tribe, finding your tribe, and love. So this is the abridged version of The Ugly Duckling. Mother duck sat waiting for her eggs to hatch. She waited, and she waited, and she waited. One day, the eggs began to crack, and out came 5 yellow ducklings. There was one leg left, and Mother Duck had to sit on it for much, much longer. Finally, the egg began to crack, and out came the last duckling. He was very gray and large, and as he stood up, the other ducklings gasped and then laughed at him. One day, Mother Duck took all the ducklings to the pond to teach them to swim. "Let's go to the pond," said Mother Duck. "Follow me." At the pond, some wild ducks flew by, and they saw Mother Duck and the 5 yellow ducklings and the big gray duckling. And they said, "Look how ugly he is," as they laughed and flew away. "Let's go to the farmyard," said Mother Duck. "Follow me." Some hens saw Mother Duck and the 5 yellow ducklings. Then they noticed the big gray duckling. And of course, they said, "Look how ugly he is," and laughed at him. "Let's go home," said Mother Duck. "Follow me." Some wood pigeons saw Mother Duck and the 5 yellow ducklings on their way home. And of course, they said about the big gray duckling, "Look how ugly he is," and laughed at him. The ugly duckling was so upset that he went to bed and refused to come out. And he decided that he would run away. And he decided that he was very unwanted. So one day, the ugly duckling, going out on his own, came across a big lake. He hid in the tall reeds as spring arrived. The lake looked so inviting that the ugly duckling climbed out of the reeds and stepped into the water. Some swans flew past, and they saw the ugly duckling and landed beside him. "I know what you're going to say. I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly. There, I said it for you." "What are you talking about?" said one of the swans. Suddenly, the ugly duckling caught sight of himself in the water. He or she wasn't an ugly duckling after all. He or she had turned into a beautiful swan. I'm a swan, and the ugly duckling lived happily ever after as the other swans nodded and swam around. He or she or he.
It's time for the offering. It's time for the offering, and this month we'll share a portion of our, not portion, our plate will go to the Pastoral Care Minister's discretionary fund.
This is called When God Himself Comes Calling. Sometimes I'm certain there's a God, sometimes I wonder, sometimes I'm certain there isn't, but most times I'm wondering. And this is just one of those wondering things. When God Himself comes calling, will we stand proud of all we've done? To care for His creation and the cause of kingdom come when God comes calling. When God comes calling. When God himself comes calling, will we hide beneath the stairs, hoping he does not remember our vengeful and selfish prayers when God comes calling? When God comes calling, will we show grace within his mercy? Will we shine like heaven's light? Will we do those things he's shown us to be good and true and right when God comes calling? When God himself comes calling, will we recognize his throne, or just escort him to the border and tell him it's time to go back home when God comes calling? When God comes calling, will we show grace within his mercy? Will we shine like heaven's light? Will we do those things he's shown us to be good and true and right when God comes calling? When God himself comes calling, will we stand proud of all we've done to care for his creation and the cause of kingdom come when God comes calling? When God comes calling, when God comes calling.
Sometimes I have a pretty good idea of what I want to say, but I don't know exactly where I'm going to start. So now I know where I'm going to start. Now, you know, my definition of God is love and is good. So I will insert that in that song. When love comes calling, when good comes calling. And the thing is, we think it doesn't happen very much, but it happens all the time. Every second, every minute of every hour, of every day, of every month, of every year. Good and love comes calling. And sometimes we do hide because we don't want to be good and we don't want to be loving. We want to be vengeful. We want to be mean. We want to get back at somebody. We want to mope. We want to, what? What do we want to do? Wallow. Ooh, wallow is a good one. Whine is another good W word. We want to whine. What else? Hide, yes. Yes, hide. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Pity, 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 pity. Yeah, there isn't much love or good in pity. Yeah, yeah. And do you notice that one of the things about love is that it is part of common humanity. And so are all of these things that you want to hide from love and hide from good about. You're just a regular human who might wallow or whine or feel pity or be angry or feel vengeful or want to hide or want everything to go away and pout. Oh, pout's a good one too. Yeah. Yeah. When love comes calling. I have to be careful about, and I've said this before, about how much news I listen to, how many things I watch, how many things I hear. And not because I shouldn't know what's going on. I do need to know what's going on. How do you know where the love goes? How do you know where the good needs to increase? But there's a way that our brain works that I want to talk about, because the love that I'm going to talk about today, the title is Love Letter, is the love letter from you to you. Where is the love? Where is the goodness? How do you increase it? So sometimes what happens, because of the way our brains work, I am watching TV or in the car listening to NPR, which seems to be the car radio thing in my car. And there will be a story come on, and I will be enough centered that I can say, oh, I can listen to a little bit of that. I need to know that information, and then I need to turn it off. Why? Because when our brain is flooded with something awful that is happening somewhere, when it gets flooded, it cannot discern the difference between, is this a dangerous thing that is happening to me, or is this something happening in Minneapolis? So last Sunday I was on my way to preach at Channing UU Church in Edmond, and I was listening to This American Life, and it was a beautifully done story about a man's experience being stopped in his car, and how bit by bit by bit, even though he called 911 and everything, how it got more and more and more and more and more chaotic, until he was down with his face on the ground and handcuffed. And as I was driving, I was feeling it in my chest, I was feeling it in my body, as I would because it's happening to a person. But part of my discerning brain went offline because I was suddenly in so much danger. And I looked down at my speedometer, and I was going 15 miles over the speed limit because my foot was taking me out of there, that danger, as fast as it could. Because I was in danger. Oh, no, I wasn't. I'm in my car, everything's working, I have my little coffee that I'm drinking before I get there, it's a sunny day, I know what I'm going to say when I get there, and okay, that's the way our brain works. When we are in terrific danger, we don't want to stop and philosophize about how fast a tiger moves, and do we have time to get from here to there? Because now, what is the speed of that tiger, and what kind of tiger is that? And does it? Our brain shuts down, and the brain that is working is our brainstem, which says good, bad, run, stop, freeze, do something, danger, no danger. I mean, it's that bipolar stuff. Just this or 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 this. No high thinking, which makes you think a little bit about bipartisan. Can it be both? No, not when you're in danger. And we apparently all the time now feel as though we are in some kind of danger. So when that happens, our brains go there. Luckily, there was enough of the rest of my brain left that the first thing I did was turn off the radio. Because there was nothing I could do at the moment to do anything with my brain's left, to figure out anything, to know what to do, except run away. And my foot was taking me there. My brain was working perfectly. There was nothing wrong with it. Except at that moment, that is not the way I wanted to respond to the world that I was in. And I needed to get back there. I needed to get back. I might bring in the love, bring in the light, be able to touch, be able to have good love, God, show up at that moment. So I've been thinking a lot, and I've been talking a lot about it to anybody I can talk to about to see what they're doing. Well, what in this mess that it feels like everybody's in, and no matter what side of the divide you feel like you're on, no matter what divide you make that you become suddenly on that side, it feels as though we are all really trying to figure out what can I bring to respond to this time in my life. Now I have a bigger life, but today this is a love story from you to you. So what is it that I can bring to respond to this time in my life, this moment? I can take my foot off the gas. And if that's metaphorical, you can think about what that means. You're in a situation and you find that you are putting your foot on the gas faster than it even needs to be, and not very safely. It's not very safe to go through a city streets 15 miles an hour faster. Maybe on the I-35, if I was coming up this morning, it would be okay for a little while, but yeah. How do I get back? What are the reserves that allow me to know, bring the response I want to, the good, the love, increase those things, increase the compassion, increase the creativity, increase the clarity, the curiosity, the confidence, the calm? Because I think that's what happens when God, good, love, in the room. That means that's all there. And so, we are all human, and because we are human, we have the plethora of all of the things we mentioned earlier, and are always going to, and are never going to be without them, no matter how healthy we are. That's part of being healthy. But do I want to put my foot on the gas as soon as I feel some intense emotion? Or do I want to be able to have love walk into the room, or have me walk into the room of love and have that emotion held in love, in compassion, in kindness? So, as a therapist, I'm not ever going to say, well, let's get rid of all emotions, because that's the only way I know. Those are the gates, those are the doors, those are the windows, those are the pathways that help me know that something is going on with a person. That's the first symptom, that's the first sign, the first little cough, the first little throat tickle that says something's going on and it is intense. How do I know it's intense? Well, look how intense this emotion is. Now, the emotion is not the problem. The emotion is the message that the problem is sending. So if I get flooded by the emotion, I may never get to the place where what needs to be done gets done. Sidebar. Yesterday, I had this moment sitting on the front porch when nothing was really happening, so, you never know where your mind's going to go at those moments. And I was thinking about being right wing, and I was thinking about being left wing. I was thinking about being from the left, and I was thinking about being from the right. And I was thinking about, say something like a headache. Metaphorically, how many of us right now in our country have a headache? Okay. Enough. And so, if you don't come at it with So the headache is the emotion. The headache is the symptom. The headache is not the problem. So metaphorically, a person on the extreme left would say, nobody ever should have headaches, so we're going to make sure that everybody has aspirin. No matter how much it costs, no matter what, we're going to give them aspirin because nobody should have headaches. Well, it's kind of a nice thing because, you know, I kind of lean that way. But then I got to thinking about, you know, if you think about really the base of conservative is you conserve what is good, okay? So on the right, if I lean there, then it's, well, we're going to run out of aspirin, and when I need some, I'm not going to have any. And so the people on my side who have enough money are going to get all the aspirin they can get. Maybe I'll sell you one at a adjusted price. But we're going to keep all of the aspirin, and nobody should get aspirin free. They should all have a job and work for it, and aspirin. Okay. That's for the headache. But the problem is, let's say, that I lived in Enid, Oklahoma in the early 70s, middle 70s, through the middle 70s. And Champlain Oil had a refining thing not too far from Phillips campus. And at that point, they hadn't figured what to do about it, or they didn't care. And it smelled awful a good deal of the day unless the wind, which was going a certain way. And people often had headaches. Well, the left is going to make sure everybody has aspirin. The right is going to make sure that there is enough aspirin and it doesn't run out, because those lefties are going to get rid of all the aspirin and then nobody will have any. And nobody is going to say, what's the problem that causes the headache? We're just going to look at the symptom. And the symptom is important. The headache is telling us something. Your sadness is telling you something. Your anger is telling you something. Your frustration is telling you something. Your whining is telling you something. Your wallowing is telling you something. It's all telling you something. It's not the problem, it's the messenger. It's the prophet. It's telling you something. And so, as a psychotherapist, I don't want to miss any of those doors that have a chance of taking me to what is that's going on. Where does the love need to increase? Where is the goodness need to happen? What's going on here? Okay. But I'm not talking about society today. I'm talking about me and you, and what is it that I can do to be a more effective and powerful and loving and kind and good person in the world. And the answer is, you take care of your own blank stuff. That's it. That's your job. And that is in your hands. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but it is. It's hard work. It's in your hands. This is where we strengthen the world. This is where we strengthen our ability to do what needs to be done and not be flooded at a time when we need clarity and curiosity and kindness and compassion and goodness and connectedness. And that is hard to do. If I was in my car, I didn't really realize how close I was to this until last Sunday when I was in my car. If I was in my car and I was surrounded by large men, because I'm sitting down, so they all look large people, large theys, whatever, with masks on, sunglasses on, all covered up with huge weapons, I might put my foot on the gas. I might. It's scary. And I might go straight to that part of my brain that says, get the hell out of here. get going, get gone. And I might be dead. I might. Well, we are in those kind of situations in small ways and big ways. You know, somebody will say something that's standing next to us in a line. Somebody will. And what are we going to respond from? Because what we want to do is we want to increase goodness and we want to increase love. We are sick and tired of it being so lacking. We want to increase kindness. We want to increase compassion. We want to increase creativity and curiosity and confidence. Okay, here's your resource. This is where you start the increasing. This is the part that's in your power. And it sometimes does not feel like it's in my power. My foot was already going down. But it was in my power to turn off the radio. And it was in my power to say, okay, where am I right now? Okay. And how am I going to use this story to tell somebody else what happened so that we can have this common humanity thread, because this happens to all of us when we get flooded by emotion, whatever emotion it is. And how are we going to come back together, come down? Because it's not that it won't go up. You take a stress test for your heart, and it isn't that your heart has gone way up. It should at certain places. Your heart rate should go way up. But how good you are at letting it come back down and calming down. Because that's where the danger lies. Does your heart go way up and it stays there and stays there and stays there and stays there? And then you put on a mask and you get a gun. I remember during COVID, my son-in-law he kept adding to it because, you know, COVID took a long time, and for a while we didn't even have vaccines. So first he was just going to dig a moat. And then he was going to fill it with crocodiles. And then he was going to have to build a fence so the crocodiles couldn't get to us. And then, what was the next thing? Oh, and then he was going to put a camouflage net some way over our whole 5 1/3 acres. And then he was going to somehow have to make it that the sun could still come through so that we could plant our crops and do those kind of things. And then, you know, it could go on and on and on and on and on because we were in a protection mode. But what it got down to is what was in our power to do. What was in our power to do? And in our power, out there on 5 1/3 acres with neighbors, you know, in the country it's kind of hard to judge, but most next door neighbors are at least a block away, even though they're the next door neighbors. What is my responsibility? You know, responsibility, a word that is so interesting. You know, well, be responsible. You know, you hear that in your critical voice a lot. That was so irresponsible. But if you think about it, responsibility is the ability to respond. How do I increase my ability to respond in the way that is aligned with my values and morals and ethics, with who I am at the deepest level of me, with the good, with love? Because for me, instead of just it being a judgmental thing, which I know that in the song that's not what you meant that, but more than that. For me, it is not just a judgmental thing when good and love walks in. It's like, oh, thank God. Good, there's some good here, and I can rest a minute and think about how I get it back attached to the good, back attached to the love that is in me already. Have you ever seen a bad baby? A newborn. There may be a sick newborn, there may be a troubled newborn, there may be a sad and worried, but have you ever seen a bad baby? That's how you started out. That's still in you. And your job is to help it grow. And we have all sorts of things of life that kind of whoosh the doors, shut the doors shut on that piece, and shut the doors on that piece, and shut the doors on that piece. But your job, guess what? Now that you're an adult, you can't really blame anybody else. You can say, oh yes, I can see how that person in my life was responsible for me coming up with this way of coping. Oh yes, I can see that this situation affected me in these ways, very much so. And guess what? Now you are the adult in the room that needs to go get the thing fixed. Oh yeah, I stubbed my toe and now it's turning blue. Oh wait a minute, now it's turning red. Oh wait a minute, now there's a red line going up my leg. Oh wait a minute, who is the adult in this room that needs to go to the emergency room? Oh, I am. I need to go get it taken care of. With love and kindness, not guilt, not shame, not kick to the body parts. And that's your job. It is also a job where you have power. No matter what is going on, no matter who is president, no matter who is governor, no matter who your neighbor is, no matter, that's your power. You have the power to work on what is going on with you, to increase goodness, to love what is to you unlovable. Now, if you think about it, I've been preaching this in several ways for so long. But let's start with the Beatitudes that I worked on last time I was here. Because the Beatitudes are about that you take love and goodness and you give blessing to the places there are no blessings in you. Like, how often do you bless your wallowing? How often do you bless your whining? But it says, your wallowing says, your whining says, there is blessing needed here. It is saying there is something that needs blessed, and the emotion is telling you, thank you, emotion, thank you. I used to have this really, you kind of hate to say these things because then what if it starts coming back? But I used to have these really intense lower back problems. I mean, so intense that they would knock me to the ground. That kind of, if I moved in the wrong way, I was on the ground. If I moved in the wrong way, I fainted. I've never fainted in my life, but those times, that's what I fainted. Couldn't move, couldn't function, couldn't do normal things like get up and take me to the bathroom. I mean, it just immobilized me, absolutely immobilized me. I was frozen. If I stayed completely frozen with muscle reluctance and didn't move, it felt like, well, this is okay. I can do this as long as I don't move. Frozen. Frozen, frozen. Remember when I was talking about the reactions to our... Well, I was not in a very good situation in my life. And what I discovered after I got the care that I needed from lovely body workers and orthopedics and pain relievers, what I discovered is that there were a lot of places, it's really low back, you got that? A lot of places in my life that there was something that was a real pain in the very low back, yes. And as I begin to shift out of those and bring love and light and goodness into my life, it healed. But of course, you don't learn the lessons right away. But over time, I began to realize that it was the symptom that would tell me when there was a situation in my life that was a real pain in the very low back. And I remember one time I was out in my garage cleaning something, and I bent down, and that familiar pain shot across, and I thought, oh, how am I going to make it into the house? And then I just sat down on a bucket that was right there, and I thought instead, oh, okay, what are you telling me this time? And I got out of a really rotten job. Now, it's not quite straight easy that time, those ways. You know, sometimes it's about that we have something physically wrong. And I do have a place in my lower back that they're not exactly great looking down there. So if something is going to show up in a weakness in my body, that's where it's going to hit. And it is a physical thing that happens. It is a weakness in my body because it's not quite great down there. But it's also connected to the rest of me because everything about me is connected to everything about me. Like the universe, everything in me is part of the whole. And that's how the work gets hard, is because everything in me, every part of me deserves to be cared for, to be loved, to be sent compassion. And that's what I think the Beatitudes are about. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Have you sent love and goodness and kindness and listened, just really listened to the part of you that is dispirited? Listen to what that needs. Listen that in you. Listen with love. Listen with kindness. Really listen. Now, because I'm a therapist, I have to do a sideline here of saying to be able to do that, if it's a big thing, you have to feel safe enough to do it. So first you have to find your safe place. You know, sometimes you can do it on your own. Everybody's gone and you turn on music and you can cry until you're finished crying because you're safe enough to do that. You're safe enough to let down and feel the sadness. Sometimes you got a whole bunch of anger and it doesn't feel like there's any safe place, and you might need a whole wide field somewhere to run around and whack weeds. You know, sometimes these things are big enough that there needs to be enough other people around. Why do you think AA has groups? They create for each other, at least for those moments, a safe enough container to show up. So, I am asking you to look for your safety, to look for the place where you can begin to show kindness and compassion to that which is hurting in you. And then somebody's going to say, but I don't deserve it. And I just want to throw that word right out over my shoulder, because the thing is, pain needs comforting. Pain needs care. So you're going to do it because you're in pain. You may be a really awful person, but you're going to do it because you're in pain and get to the awfulness. Blessed are those who mourn. Okay, there's your sadness. There's your sadness. There's your sadness. Can you hold it? As Pima Chodron says, can you hold it? She says, I take it and I hold it in the arms of my compassion. You might even find a rocking chair. For they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, the humble. Humble in our society is both a wonderful thing and an awful thing. When we say we're humiliated, that's not being humble. That's somebody putting us in a humiliating place. And we do that to ourselves sometimes. So I'm not talking about that kind of humble. I'm talking about humble in that I am going to go where the need is in me. I am going to be humble enough to know that I have some, and I'm going to go there. For they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. We know, there's a developmental age. Maybe Catherine can help me here if I get off. I think it's during the 6 to 9 where you just need to know what's right. You need to know the rules. What is that about the age? Yeah, it's a developmental age. You need to know the rules. You need to know what's right. And it really matters what's right. It really hurts when somebody cheats because inside us we have a need for right. Righteous in Hebrew means right fit. We need to have the right fit. The things that fit us, the things that, when you know them, as a psychotherapist, I kind of throw a lot of stuff out because I don't know exactly what's going to be the exact thing. This worked for that person, this worked for that person, and this worked for that person. But when it's the right fit, you can just feel the room change because it was the right fit. It sounded right, is right for that person. It fits. Do you know what that feels like? You know what that feels like when it's something that resolves and it fits. And sometimes it's just for a second. It's a song that mentions something that you never thought of in that way, and it just touches you and it fits. Yeah, we're working at growing that. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. You're going after it. You want to know what's right in you and for you and about you. For they will be filled. You want to expand that place. What if it was filled? What if the place in me that felt right, that was the right fit, got bigger? That's your job. It's in your power. It may not feel like it, but you can get the help to get on the next step. Blessed are the merciful. Okay, when's the last time you were mean to you? Huh? Small ways, big ways. Mean. You were mean to you. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I think 5 minutes ago. I think maybe these boots I have on were not a very merciful idea for my feet this morning. When's the last time you were mean to you? When's the last time you showed mercy to that part of you that you were just so mean to? What happens to the merciful? Oh, they will be shown mercy. Oh, well, there you go. Blessed are the pure in heart. Anybody want to stick your hand up as being pure in heart? We might have a definition of a narcissist if you do. But the thing is, there is purity in us. There is purity. And to be able to live out of that purity, to live out of what's the most gold you can get? 24 karat? Is it 32 karat? What's 24. Okay. There's 24 karat gold in you, and you might want some more. You might want to increase that. Blessed are the pure in heart, for what shall they see? Well, it's one translation. In this one, it's they will see God. They'll see that God just walked into the room. And it won't be that one where you think, oh my God, and my house is such a mess. It'll be, oh yeah, God's here. I see God, because I can see the purity everywhere I look. I can see the gold in you. 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 Blessed are those who are the peacemakers. Now, inside yourself, that's what we want to do right away. We want to just go in and make it all peaceful and calm. That's called spiritual bypass. Because you don't really want to do the work, you just want it to be peaceful and calm. A peacemaker goes into the conflict. A peacemaker says, okay, what's going on here? Here's a headache. I'm not just going to give it aspirin. I'm going to see where it's coming from and what's causing us and begin to work toward there being real peace, because there's tension here. I can feel it vibrating in me. Peacemakers go to the conflict. And what happens to them? They will be called children of God, good, love. You know, they're the inheritors. They're the ones that are going to get it. And then, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness' sake. Now, again, I'm taking an example from my profession. People come in, they are miserable about something. They want to not be miserable, and they're going to have to do the work of going to where the pain is. And that's persecuted for righteousness' sake. Willing to go to your pain to care for it. Willing to go to what hurts to care for it. And that's who will be children of God. No. Yeah, that's who will be the kingdom of heaven, because they are the children of God, because they have gone there. They have done what they needed to do. Okay, so we got a world that is a really big mess. As always, I mean, if you look at history, it always is, and then it's not, and then it is, and then it's not, and then it is. I think there's a song there too. By Donovan, isn't it? By Donovan? There's a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. Yeah. There, I have given you a template for your power. I have given you a template for how you change the world. That is completely in your power. That is hard, hard work, that you're going to mess up, that you're going to need to come back. You're going to need to find the community that can hold you safe while you're working on something. Then you're going to go out and your brain's going to be flooded and you're going to go 15 miles an hour faster than you should be going. And then you're going to realize it, and then you're going to come back again. I am giving you the power to change this world. You already have it. I'm not giving it to you, but I'm telling you, you have it. And it's not easy. Where we have the biggest hurts is where we are going to act out in the most unloving, unkind ways. And when you think about that, and you think about a bully that you want to hate and beat up and throw somewhere, the bigger the bully, the more the hurt. Oh, what am I going to do about that? I'm supposed to, what? But remember that sometimes love is also fierce. Love is a boundary that says no, not again, not that way. And we do it in all sorts of ways. I was really intrigued. I looked up the website of the, I have a fight with this thing, and I don't mean to. I looked up the website of the video you may be getting to watch this afternoon, and I thought, yeah, because they are going to, the safe place that they create is the song with the music, with the people all around them, and they're going to keep singing. And so it's safe enough that they can tell their fears. We just need to keep singing, we just need to keep moving, and we just need to be with these people. And then the words that they are singing are ones that are words we need to hear when there needs to be more love, when there needs to be more care. And they're walking down the street doing that. So, to end with, I want you to think of that spiritual down by the riverside. It's really loosely based on scripture from Isaiah, and you know this scripture. It's the one where all of the swords and shields are going to be hammered into plowshares, and nobody's going to learn war anymore. So, what I want to do is I just want to, a few times, until you run out or it feels like a natural ending, we're going to sing that song, but we're going to do it with whatever words are yours there today. So, I'm going to start with burden, my burden. I'm going to lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside. Study war no more, and into war in you. Now, the river is an interesting symbol there. It may be the one that once the slave crosses it, they can't follow their footsteps anymore, or if they walk down the middle of it, they can't, no dog can get their scent, or nobody can follow their footprints. But in so many religious traditions, the river is also the place you get washed clean. So you're bringing the things down for that river of mercy, that river of cleanliness, that river of goodness. So what shall we take down to the river this time? I'm gonna lay down my okay, that goes with the rest of the song. Sword and shield down by the riverside. I changed keys, didn't I? Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside and study war no more. Now we're not going to go sing the whole song. We're just going to shout out. I'm going to lay down my judgment down by the riverside. I'm going to lay down my impatience down by the riverside. I'm going to lay down my anger down by the riverside. I'm going to lay down. Fear. Keep going this time. Fear. Grudge. Worry. Disgust. Guilt. Shame. Distrust. Disconnectedness. Hatred, hurt, agitation. You feel them together in there? It's a bunch. Keep going. Keep going till you're finished. Self-righteousness. Any more? They're all laying down there right by the riverside where they can be healed. Yeah. And what you're left with is the thing it covered up. You're left with the real wound that all those things covered up, or all those things were the doorway to, or all those things were the symptom or the knock. And so now, like a good call to the end of worship, how about jumping in the river? How about letting the river flow through the real hurt? You laid down the symptoms. And how about together, is it possible for us to let ourselves be healed? Now, I'm no Billy Graham or Oral Roberts, so that doesn't mean you're going to be healed when you walk out of here. But I wonder if we could remember where the river is, remember to lay down the burdens that took us there, the pain, and remember to then cleanse our hurts in whatever way needs to be done. And I don't know what that is for you, because we all have different real wounds, real traumas, real things that have happened. And you might have to jump into that river so many times. If you're like me, maybe you're way ahead of me, so you've only done it once or twice and you're just fine. So, to end, I'm going to do the prayer of St. Francis, the prayer for peace. And this is a love song, a love story, a love letter to you, from you. You saying it to you. And you may only believe it an nth of a percent of that. Who knows? But see if it can increase as it goes on. This love letter to you. Goodness, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, you got any? Open me to faith. Where there is despair, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, let me set with joy. O divine, grand love and goodness, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled, that kind of, come on and help me, you can do it, I'll feel better if you do that, come on, but to console. To be understood, you get me, don't you? Don't you get me? As to deeply do the work to understand yourself. To be loved, please love me, you love me. If you love me, I'll be okay. Well, I need to find somebody to love me. As to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Blessings to you all. May it be so. Amen. I heard a phew out there. That's probably a little too much, and you can just take in the amount that you can take in. Okay, and the closing hymn, picked by our very intuitive Ani Love, is Love Will Guide Us.
Will
what if you focused on this flame for such a moment until it connects to the flame you need, no matter how small. Maybe you got a roaring fire today. Maybe you got a little flicker. Because I'm gonna put this candle out, but it's a reminder of the flame in you. So focus on it for a minute. Take some deep breaths if you need to. Move around so you can see it if you can't see it. Until you connect with the flame in you. And then to connect with the flame in the people around you, because I'm going to put this out now, and they will be the flame also.
That concludes the recorded portion of the service. We continue with trail markers.